Hey up! Welcome back to Piggy Pen's Tube, where today I'm doing a colour along with me. So colour along with me if you like while I approach this page from Rita Berman, which is in Meine, Reise, Durch, Europa, which I think is my journey through Europe, something like that. It's a wonderful book, highly recommend it. And this is the page that was chosen in a poll. I put 4 pictures up. I think there was a Kirby there, there was a Hannah Carlson, something else, and this one, and this is the one that got most votes by quite a majority actually. So yes, this is what we're doing today. Part 2 will be published on my channel next Friday. So I'd like to get a couple of hours into this. And it's going to be primarily pencil, but I do fancy doing a little bit of Neocolor too. This space is so small, but I still fancy doing a bit of Neocolor too in it. Just to, you know, practice more with me different types of media. I've got lots of new stuff and I want to be using it. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a go. But listen, this is a warning. I am not recommending that you do the same. You decide, take a look at your paper, take a look at the book and decide if you want to use any wet media. I've decided I do, but I hold no responsibility for you ruining your book. Alright, so what do I have? I've obviously got my trusty rubber and I've got a water brush that I'll be using with my Neocolor 2s. I've got my colour palette. Would you like to see it? First of all, it was inspired by this picture, which I'll show on screen now, which I found online by googling colourful winter cabin colour palette. And this is what I've translated it to now. This is what it looks like in terms of media. So we have got quite a lot of pencils there, but not, you know, that's about as many as I pick for any page. A few Neocolors, and I'm going to use some stickles, I think. Let's get some little sparkly bits. Wintery, you know, inspired by Elsa, Frozen type thing. But yeah, this is the colour palette that I'm going with then, which was inspired by that picture. I have got primarily Prismacolors. Whatever I do use today, because I might not use all the pencils that I've pulled, but whatever I do end up using I will put in the description to this video, so you will already have that list if you want to use the same as me. I encourage you to do whatever you want, use your own colour palette, use your own pencils, whatever inspires you. You could even do a different page, but it'd be lovely if we did this page together. And don't forget, if you do complete this page, send it to me by, I think I've said, how many days in November? 13th. By the end of the 28th of November. If you send it to me by 28th of November, I'll include it in a video like I did with the witchy page that we did for Halloween. So this is all about welcoming winter as doing this page together. So that'll be the theme of the video. So yes, this is the palette I've chosen. Primarily Prismacolors, as I said. I've got some Derwent Chromaflows. I just wanted to try out some different pencils and also have some more options. So where it says DC, these are Derwent Chromaflows. Got one there. This is, I had to pull this pencil the last time I did a Prismacolor page. So Prismacolor does have a good colour range, but I do think it's missing a few things. This very dark marine type blue called Deep Sea from Chromaflow. I love it and I find I use it a lot. So I've pulled that as well. So yes, Derwent Chromaflow. And then I've also got, where you see these CLs, CL. This is 3 Caran Luminance that I thought I might have a go with. Because on that palette, the green, that inspiration picture, the green is quite specific. So I thought, you know what, let's edge my bets. I've got some Prismacolor greens, some Derwent Chromaflow greens, and some Caran Luminous greens. So yes, I thought I'd just have them. I like to pull all my media and not have to go back to, I will go back to my pencil cases if I have to, but I'd rather not. So I've got some nice greens. I've got some blues that do lean on the marine side. Do you know what I mean by that? I don't even know if I know what I mean, but they always refer to them as like marine colours in pencil sets. So the kind of lean on a green side, don't they're a bit of a greeny blue. So cool, and that's what I'm thinking about for this, is cool colours. I've got a grey that I just thought I'd pull because it's always good to have a dark grey for shading. And I've got some pinks. They're lovely, muted tones. Do you know what? I was looking at all my pencil sets to decide which pencil to use for this page. And let me tell you, I think if you've got Derwent Chromaflows, you've got a really good pencil set for this colour palette. And I also think if you've got Castle Art Harmonious range, that 72 set of pencils, you've literally got everything you need, I think, in that. Because it doesn't contain any yellows, but it's got some colours on this side of... It's got all these colours, that Castle Arts Harmonious, all these, and even some like this. So yeah, I'm really impressed with that set. It's a lot cheaper than the other sets. And it's obviously a specific palette. It's meant to be an addition to other pencil sets that you've got. But if you haven't tried it, Castle Art Harmonious, I do think it's really good. So yeah, if you've got Derwent Chromaflows, you're sorted for this page. And you can do your own matching, can't you? So yes, and the three Neocolor 2s that I've picked are light blue, night blue and indigo blue. So I've got those Neocolor 2s, and I've also just swatched a few of my metallics in like frosty blue colours. So these are from the Guangna Super Golden markers, and this is from some new metallic Artex acrylic markers that I've got, but they're not very metallic-y on white anyway. I still like the effect. But yeah. So there are a couple of colours from that. And yeah, stickles. So this is kind of like my colour palette come mood board. Here we have our lovely page. So I'm seeing this as we're looking through. It's more graphic than a true scene. We've got kind of a circle. She's formed kind of a circle to border it with different elements. So it's not a true scene, if you know what I mean, but it kind of is. So I'm thinking I'd like to go with a reasonably dark sky that fades out into a lighter sky the higher it gets. So I'm going to use my Neocolor 2s in this bit with my water brush pen. These are trees. There's so much illustration, you've just got to take a moment to work out what you're looking at, haven't you? We've got a few florals and a bit of cloud work. Right. Some other nice plants and flowers. Mushrooms. These look like Yorkshire roses, lovely. Some trees and some wood. I haven't pulled any browns, but do you know what? I can always go back and do so. This is black grape, so it's actually a purple, a very dark purpley colour. But I could maybe do something with that, or I'll just pull some browns in if I feel like I want to make it true wooden colour. But with Rita Berman's work, you can do what you like, can't you? I think she encourages it. Her colouring's amazing. So let's get going then. We'll work it out as we go along. I'm going to give myself a couple of hours, and then I've got to make my husband some nice dinner. We're going to have some steak and chips tonight. Bit of ribeye and some mushrooms. Alexa, can you set a timer for 2 hours?
2 hours, starting now.
It's not a strict timer. I just want to be able to relax and know that I'm not going to be, 4 hours late, and I've just realised I'm still colouring. And that's about as much as I'll get out of the memory on my phone anyway. All right, so welcome guys if you're joining me. I hope don't forget you can hit pause at any time. If you've just started listening to the video and you want to colour along, just hit pause. If you've got an hour to spare and get a little bit done with me, you can always pause and come back. As always, I have to say at the start of every one of these, colour along with me's. And please remember they're not tutorials because I'm not experienced enough to tell you what to do or how to do it. All I can do is show you how I'm going to approach it. And I only just got my Prismacolors, as you know, so this is my first proper page with them. So yay me for being brave girl. Letting you see all my flaws as I attempt to use this pencil, which is really quite new to me. So I know no fear when it comes to colouring. So I'm just going to start by, what I'd like to achieve here is I want a kind of a dappled, mottled effect that kind of fades out. So I'm going to start with, I've done this before, if you've ever seen it, I did a page in one of the fairy tale books by Emily Leda Oberg of a castle on a book, and I did this sky, it was all pinks and purples. I did this sky technique on it for the first time, so I'm going to repeat that hopefully. So all I'm doing is, I'm not usually as careful as this, but I'm just trying to chill out and be a little bit, I don't have to get this page done in one part, so I can relax a little bit, take my time. So I'm just going to get some pale blue on it. This is light blue by Caran in the Neocolor 2 range. I'm going to do a layer in this colour and then I'm going to let that dry for a few seconds. We might move on to some pencil work and then I'll go back and add another layer, but I won't spread it out as far, if you know what I mean. Of course you can do full colourings with Neocolor too. There's no reason they have to be just used in backgrounds. I do love them. I think they're fantastic. And you know, I do love the Inktense as well, the Inktense pencils, for the same reason. But I do find these just a little bit more melty. I find these easier to, you know, when you've finished with the wet part, they generally just look like paint. Whereas I think with Inktense, because I'm a little bit heavy-handed, sometimes I can still see my pencil work through them. But that all depends on paper as well. I'm not going to worry too much about if I go over the lines. If you've watched any of my colour alongs before, I am quite chilled and I have complete belief that everything is repairable. So, well, almost everything. I've never knocked a cup of coffee or a glass of wine over my colouring yet, but there's time. There's time. Just super relaxing to use as well, Neocolor 2s. And I think you can get cheaper brands of them, can't you? So I have a water brush with water in, but I don't often use the water in it. I still like to use a what's it called? Glass of water. So yeah, I don't want to use too much because, like I said, this isn't a, you know, it's this kind of paper. It's like it's not Amazon paper. It's not fairy tales and folklore. It's like somewhere closer to like mythographic, isn't it? So let's see how water does on this. Dab off a little of the excess, and I don't like to start going straight near the edge. I like to start a little, you know, in case I've got a lot of water coming out. Just want to control it a bit better. That was quite a lot. Normally the water doesn't flow so quickly out of these little brushes for me, but today, when I wanted it to just take it steady a little bit, it's gushing out. But I'm not worried. I've taken a look at the back of this paper as well, the back of this page, and I'm not bothered about, I'll never complete this book, and I'm not bothered about the illustration on the back. The one on the opposite page I like, so the one on the right side I do like. It's got some mousse on it, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't have dipped that. I wouldn't have dipped this in my water if I'd have known it were going to flow out so well, because normally I don't get much coming out of the brush unless I squeeze the barrel. So that was a little bit of a surprise for me, all that water then. We never panic here at Piggy Pens Tube. Need to spread some of this water out though. Don't want it pooling too much. Yeah, and then when I get to the edge, it's just nice to dapple it, or mottled. I don't know what the correct term is. Kind of like dappled. If wrinkly pages bother you, you can always iron your pages. That's something I do. I've got an iron set up upstairs, but I don't really iron clothes. We don't have much need to be finely pressed, me and my husband. But it's there, and I've got an old pillowcase that's clean, you know, freshly laundered. And what I like to do is I fold the pillowcase both, you know, I took it under the page and then I fold it over the page, so it's nice and flat, no creases, and then I put a coolish iron over it, and it works a treat for ironing out your pages, you know, once your media's dried. You just have to think about what you've got on your page, because I suppose if you've got something that could remelt, if you like. I'm a bit careful with metallics and things like that. I don't know why, but because I'm fairly new to all this, I'm just being a bit cautious. But yeah, generally, if I've used any water media, I'm not normally ironing my page. Some books you don't need to, some books the paper's so good, it's not always necessary. But I tend to use quite a bit of water, as you saw there, but you can see I've calmed down now. Don't know why that much came out. You saw me dab it off, didn't you? Such is life. This is why I have to put that disclaimer at the start and say I'm not a professional. This isn't a tutorial, because proper tutorials don't have these calamities, do they? You don't see all that happening. I've actually just uploaded another colour along today because I got my copy of Winter Wonder. So I've just done another lovely winter page, autumny winter page in R.J. Hanson's new book, Winter Wonder. That's gone up on my channel today. That's just a little quickie, that one. A couple of hours long. I included a flip through, but the colouring part was just a couple of hours. It turned out quite nice. I like it anyway. That's all that matters, isn't it? If we like his own work. Everybody's a critic, but what really matters is if you love it yourself. Yeah, I love this little dappling effect. And I can't tell you which way would have been quicker, whether you just pencil this sky in, because you could do a lovely pencil blend in this sky background, couldn't you? And I can't honestly say which I think would have been quicker, because I've got to think about letting this dry. Although you can see where I've not gone overboard, it's already drying. I love that look. Or whether it would have been quicker to do like a 3 pencil blend, but the more I use, the more you use the things that you've got. So the more I use my tools, like my Neocolor 2s and things like that, the better I'll get with them. So I try and incorporate things where I can. It'll be interesting. I won't look until I've finished this page probably. I'll be interested to see if it's gone through. I might look, so I can tell you guys, but as you can see, when I put a page on the board, it really gets put on the board. I've built it up with another book here. I've got a page behind me, piece of paper behind my page, got 2 bulldog clips, buffered with kitchen roll or paper towel. I like my page to be secure and not like flapping up or bouncing up. So yeah, when RJ's book arrived yesterday, I was delighted and I got straight into doing a colour along. I literally unpackaged it on the camera, on the video, because I was excited about it coming. And then this morning, before I went to bed last night, I put my next page on board, which was a Sagittarius page I'm doing in Ocean to Stars, with 2 other girls who've got the birthday in the same kind of month window. And I was excited for that. And then when I woke up this morning, I was like, what date is it? When's this this Rita Berman colour along that I'm doing? And I'm like, oh crikey, I need to film that today, because I said I'd put it up tomorrow. I dare say nobody'd mind. They wouldn't even notice. People have got lives. But if I say I'm going to do something, I like to do it. So I quickly took my Sagittarius page off board. That'll get done next. So I'll start that. This will be a whip for a week. A 1 week whip. And yeah, I'll start that Sagittarius page probably tonight, because, you know, all I do is colour. If my husband's not here, all I do is colour. Right, so I'm happy with that. I love that. Love it. Now I'll just clean my brush off. Give that a couple of minutes. But I'm not going to sit here twiddling my thumbs. I'm going to think about, because what I want to do is, once this layer's dry, I'm going to do a lesser layer with this colour, night blue, and then just round the edge there, in the horizon line, I'll do a 3rd layer with indigo blue. So right, I like to try and work where I can, top left to bottom right, because I'm right-handed and I don't like to get in my own way. Now, what do we think this is? Do we think this is some blobs of snow, or is it foliage, or is it snow on foliage? Which is more likely? I do love Rita's illustrations. If in an ideal world for me, we'd leave this stuff out, you know, the patterned elements. And I do get confused, you know, when she's got a bush that has this pattern. And she knows this because she commented on one of my, she commented on the camping page I did in her seasons book. Which I was really chuffed about, because she was really complimentary. But I mentioned that I do find it quite challenging because of the way she draws. She gives us some foliage, but not all of it. And she says sometimes she finds her illustrating quite taxing as well, or something like that. But she was lovely about it. And she's just a lovely lady, isn't she? And what a talented colourist. Never mind illustrator. She has got it all going on. So yeah, I think I'll go in with whatever this is in the background. I think I'll start by just doing some shading on this area. You know, this where we've got this little stippling going on, which I'm seeing as the background to this design. And I think I'll get some colour in there, because it'll help me decide. It'll help me see what's in front of me better, I think. Or should I get my elements in first and then go back in? No, let's get the stuff that's less exciting out of the way first. That's always my approach anyway. You could do what you like, can't you? So what am I going to do with that bit? Do I want it to be dark? And then just fading out a little bit like this background in there. So then the colours will pop because these are quite pale muted colours. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to do this in dark blues. So let me just pop up the reference, the inspiration picture again. Do you see what I mean? I think that's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to take inspiration from this picture and using this deep sea colour from Derwent Chromaflow and PC 936, which is slate grey from Prismacolor. Yeah, those two would work lovely together. Maybe, or PC 1088 would be good. Muted turquoise. Maybe all three. Yes, that is what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm going to do for the first short while. Before I come back to giving that another go, is I'm going to get some colour in these bits. I've not tried blending a Chromaflow into a Prismacolor, so we're going to find out if that works. Yeah, I think I'm going to like this. I think I'm going to like this. I'm going to try and enunciate a little bit more, because I find when I relax, when I'm talking to you guys, I talk under my breath a bit. So if anybody is actually watching to colour along with me, which I hope they are, if anybody's doing that, I really need to make sure I'm speaking a little bit more clearly, I think. So yes, I'm just going to try and do, I mean, I quite enjoy doing like a really gentle fade out with polychromos. But I've never done it with a Prismacolor, so we'll see how that goes. Just in this corner. I hate it when you have to colour over the bend. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Give us an extra inch of plain paper near the crease, please. I'd love that, if you don't mind. If you're a regular watcher of my videos, welcome back. Should have really welcomed you at the start, but I was a little bit excited. And if this is the first time you've ever watched a video from me, my name's Jo, and I've been colouring, adult colouring, about 4 months, but I studied graphic design at college about 30 years ago, but I never did anything with it. So that's about the extent of my creative experience, if you like. I'm in my late 40s and I live in Yorkshire in the UK. And if you've been here before, you will maybe remember that I always say I don't worry about super smooth blends so much with pencil work. I don't mind a pencil drawing. Oh, I wish I saw a fantastic colorist page on Instagram and I liked it and commented, and I thought, and I'm sure I follow her. I'm sure I would have followed her because I was so impressed with picture. But now I can't remember what they were called, and I'd love to go back and be able to show you what I mean. But you could totally tell that was a coloured pencil page, and it was a work of art. And in a way, I liked it more than, you know, these coloured pencil pages that look airbrushed because the shading is so superb and so smooth. But I love it to look a little bit like pencil. So yeah, if you ever think, oh, she could blend that out more, it's something I'm going to try and work on, because I'd like to get a few different styles in my arsenal of skills, if you know what I mean, as I develop in this hobby. But it's not something I worry about. I don't mind my pencil colouring looking like pencil. And I think, again, if you're new, my first pencils I started colouring with were polychromos. So getting used to Prismacolors. I've got Chromaflow as well, but they're very different. The wax and mainly oil pencils are very different. So I'm still very much learning. I think I do have some reasonable talent for what I'm doing, as in, I don't think I'm a terrible colourist. I don't think there is such a thing with putting colour on pages. I don't see how you can fail. It's that's all it is, isn't it? I get that there's preferences dependent on what you like to look at, but yeah, I don't think there's any such thing as a bad colouring page, really. And I kind of see myself in this large pool of people in this wonderful community as somewhere around average. So I do, it's not that I lack confidence, I'm just a bit of a realist, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I've got some people who subscribe to my channel and who follow me on Instagram, and I've just never met more supportive people. They're so complimentary about my pages, and I love their pages, and they feel like they're inferior in skill to me, and and then I think, well, I feel like that when I look at Caran at My Colourful Country Life. So it's all relative, you know. We all look up to somebody. So remember that if you're lacking a little bit of confidence and you're looking at people's pages and thinking, oh, everybody colours so much better than me, I'm really rubbish at this. One, there is no such thing as bad colouring, because it is a personal thing. Completing a page in colour is a personal thing, and if you enjoy it, it's a winner. But please do remember that person that you're looking up to, thinking, God, aren't they good? Like I do with likes of Caran, and people like that. Jess at Colouring Bumblebee, wow, she can shade. Axic Fumbles. Anyway, I could name them all, and the problem is when I start naming people, there'll be people I forget. So what I'm saying is, just bear in mind that the person that you're looking up to is probably looking up to somebody else as well. So it's all relative. I like what's happening there. This, I think, colour isn't quite in the same tones, but don't worry, because when we get the other colours on, the other blues on this background, and we tie everything else in, I think it's going to work. So just hang fire. I love what's going on here. I love this blue into kind of this turquoisey colour. I like it a lot, actually. Let's get another layer on at this point. So I'm going to go in with night blue now. Just going to have another little layer, but I'm going to put less water on this time. You live and you learn. And of course, you don't have to do the blue. Didn't have to come all the way down here, so you don't have to have 3 layers of it. Do you see what I'm saying? I could have started with the darkest colour and then added some lighter stuff maybe. Or I could have just put a light band of that light blue and then, you know, but this is the way I've done it. So there's no going back now. Yeah, I love that. That's a lovely colour combo, isn't it? It's funny what your tastes are, isn't it? I do love muted tones. I love some pastels. Anytime I see unicorn or mermaid colours, I think they're my favourite colours. I love jewel tones, so if I see dark emerald green against maybe a very winey burgundy colour, or a deep sapphire blue, or a ruby, deep ruby red. I love my jewel tones. I think they're my favourite colours. Basically, I just love colour, all colour. Partial to anything tealy. I like anything turquoisey or tealy. And I often don't think I know what the difference is. Sometimes you see a teal, if you're picking colours like for soft furnishings in your house and something is described as teal, or a paint for your walls. Sometimes I think that's a turquoise, and if I see a turquoise I sometimes think that's more of a teal. Colour is such a funny thing, isn't it? How we can all see it differently. It's a wonderful thing, actually. It's lovely. There we go. So let's go in with some water. Not as much as last time, Joe, remember? You can always add more. That's the thing to remember. You can always add more. I don't like squeezing the barrel because I'm a bit heavy-handed. I'll squeeze. I'm heavy-handed but weak in my grasp, which is very odd for me because when I was younger, I used to race motocross bikes, and that took a lot of that strength, you know, and all your muscles in your forearms. So I had a really good grip. I was always a good arm wrestler. Oh dear, I was never a sailor. Talking like I was some sort of blooming big fella or something, but no. But yeah, I always had a good grip, but as I've got older and I don't do things like racing motorbikes anymore, and I'm wrestling people in pubs when I'm drunk because I think I'm awesome. Dear oh dear. I've got a bit weaker, so I'm a little bit weak now with the old grasp, but I'm still a bit heavy-handed. So yeah, if I were to squeeze this, I'd be squeezing life out of it like I were wringing a chicken's neck. And and then no, it'd happen, and all of a sudden it'd all come gushing out. Oh dear. Hey dear. If anybody's got same sense of humour as me, I'm guessing you're laughing as well. So yes. That is why I choose to dip instead of squeeze. My eyes are watering, I laughed that much. I'm just going to clean my eyeballs 1 second. Hey dear. Right, back to see, this is looking, it's kind of getting more, because these are two different families, aren't they? We've got two different things going on at the moment, but don't worry. I think that's key, actually. One of the key things about being happy, and that's what matters most, happiness. A happy and successful colorist is just relaxing a little bit about it. We know, a lot of us now, any hobby, it comes with social media as well, doesn't it? So you kind of know when you're colouring a page that your intention was to post it on your socials or whatever. So there's pressure there already. What you have to remember is, if nobody knows you're colouring it, you don't have to post it, do you? You don't have to post it anyway if things go wrong. But try and take the pressure off yourself. Just be a little bit more chilled about it. Things happen. I've realised now, see, when I looked at my Neocolor 2 swatches, these looked more in the family with everything else I've picked. It might be this that's not in the family, but I think this is, because we've got those lovely greens that I've pulled as well. So I think it's this that's a little bit out of place at the moment, but I'm also confident that by the time this is finished next week, the cohesion will be there. So I've just got blind faith. Is that what I'm saying? I've got blind faith, me. So tell me, as always, what are you doing while you're watching or listening? Are you colouring? I'd love to think you were taking some time to yourself and doing something for you. Now I've got the luxury of, at the moment, my life is pretty much my own through the week, and it might not always be the case, but I'm taking some time out from work at the moment. So I've got loads of time for colouring, but I imagine if you're a mum or you're working, it must be hard to find time for yourself. I've said this before, so I hope you do. I'd love to think you were doing something for yourself, like a colouring. Or maybe you do some other crafts, but yeah. Tell me what you're up to. And if you're doing the same page as me, when have you started it? Because obviously I put these colour along with me's up on Fridays, because I like to think you've got it there for the weekend, and if you can grab yourself a couple of hours for your colouring, you might be like, you've had a crazy week and you're thinking, you maybe you don't fancy decision making. Colour along with me is perfect for that, isn't it? So you can just see if you've got the same page as me. Pull out your book, get your media. If you can't be bothered making decisions, you can just use palette I'm using. And just spend some time pleasing yourself instead of everybody else, because I bet you do a lot of that, don't you? I know. And that's not just me speaking to women. There's a lot of men out there that do a lot for their families, put themselves last a lot. Talking of men, I want to give a shout out to somebody who is in the colouring community that I know, of all the people I know, he's the biggest Rita Berman fan. So I'd love it if like with the Halloween page, everybody sends the pictures in. If you do colour along, you send your picture in to me by 28th of November, I'll make a cool video out of everybody's completed pages like I did last time, and I'll tag Rita, and you never know, she might see it. She does comment on stuff she likes, so that'd be cool, wouldn't it? But yes, this guy I've got in mind, he'd probably lose his mind if Rita were to do that, comment on the video that we made about this, because he's a super fan. His name is Derek, and he runs, along with another lovely lady, runs the Chromatic Collective Facebook group, which is a lovely welcoming group that encourages buddy colours. So check them out. It's not super tightly organised, they're very chill. Derek's very chill, so you just have to go on and say, if basically you go on mid-month and just say, can somebody point me in direction of who's got some, what buddy colours are happening. And even if you just say, does anybody have these books, and you suggest what you might want a buddy colour in, somebody will pop up and That's how I started my buddy colours, in that group. So yes, hello Derek, if you're watching. He coloured along with the Halloween one as well, did Derek? He's a good colourist. The Colouring Merce, if you want to check out his work, his pages. The Colouring, spelled American way. The Colouring Merce, as in nurse, but with an M, because he's a male nurse. Okay, I'm going to leave that layer to dry. And then we'll go and do a layer of indigo blue, just to deepen it off. I like that. It's going to look even better when it's fully dry. And of course, you've probably done something different in your background. I hope that's going well. Blowing's not going to help it, Joe. That just needs time. So let me move on to this corner, which I wouldn't ordinarily do, but I don't want to go straight over there. Get a little bit more shading done. Oh, somebody's at the door. Right there. All right, Rocket. I bet your fingers get cold in this weather as well, don't they? But it gets worse. Thank you. Cheers. I've got a couple of parcels there. His little bleeper machine wasn't working. Shall I open them and see what they are? Because I haven't a clue. Well, I will have a clue because I've just ordered a few bits recently that took a while to come, so you forget about it, don't you, when they come. Oh, this is amazing. I've got somebody sent me a gift. So I don't think I knew about this. I'm just reading the little note. Because she told me that she had, but she didn't know whether it had worked. So she's bought me something off my wish list. Enjoy your gift. And this is from Sarah, who was one of my subscribers. Enjoy your gift. Happy mail from a new and grateful subscriber. Keep being you and doing what you do. From Sarah. And she's got me this. Oh, I better not put it down in the wet paint. So I've got a new book. God, that cover's gorgeous. Hey, this is a nice colour scheme for autumn, isn't it? Romantasy. So this were on my wish list. A star-crossed colouring experience. Because I've seen it on a few channels. And this is the type of stuff that I would have drawn as a teenager. I loved fantasy art, so... I don't know, I think she must have watched that video where I was talking about colouring confessions because I mentioned it then. But this is such a good choice from my wish list. Thank you very, very much, Sarah. And when she said she'd done that, I've not had a wish list till 2 days ago. I think my last video is the first video that I put a link to a wish list on, and I only did that because people keep asking me if I've got one. So I will tell you now, you'll never hear me mention it again. This has come up because... this has arrived while I'm doing this video. I might even cut it out, but I don't expect any gifts off anybody, because when you watch and if you hit like particularly, and if you're a subscriber particularly, or if you tell people you saw a good video from me, that's enough. That's super valuable anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's worth something. It really is. That's what helps push the videos out to more people. So I never need anything from you lot ever. Fancy being not monetized, but anything that costs you money I would never want to do. So that's not what it's about for me. But some people did ask if I had a wish list, and they've asked me actually since my first few weeks doing YouTube, and I've kept saying, no, it's not really for me. I'm not bothered. I don't need anything. I'm here for friendship, which is the case. But for those people that have asked, and I kind of get it, because I do gift people that I watch. So I do, like, I'll go on my favourite creators' wish list and I'll send them things. So I do understand it. So I have done a wish list, but you'll never hear me mention it again. And never ever feel that you need to thank me in any way that costs you money. I hope you understand that. Just hit like, that's enough. But I am delighted, having said all that, This is amazing. I'm going to save it actually. I think I'll do a flip through and I'll maybe colour a page in it. I might see if Sarah's actually got this book and we could do a buddy in it. I'm super excited about that. It's lovely as well. Wow, gosh, it's detailed, isn't it? Yeah, normal proportioned humans, that's what I like. Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Sarah. What an absolute star. The first time I've ever got a gift from anybody, like my husband or my family. How cool's that? I don't know what this one is. Let me have a look. Like I say, I might cut this out, but I can't not look. So, this is something I'll check myself to a bit. Oh, yeah, it will be. No, nobody's lucky enough to get 2 gifts in one day. Oh, yes. Well, I ordered this off Amazon Japan because I thought that's the only place I could get it, and then all of a sudden all the creators have started advertising an English version of it. So I saw this on Colouring with K and I thought, yes, I might expand my Japanese collection. I'm not telling anybody about this, so keep it quiet between me and you, because I'm not putting it on my books list until January. I don't want to add it to me untouched books, you know, while I'm doing this this drive to get all my books touched. I'm going to pretend I haven't got this until January. I don't think that's cheating. But yeah, that looks great. There's loads of flip throughs online of that if you want to see inside it. Garden of Dreams by Yoshimi Segiguchi. Fabulous. This looks like English version as well. Does it get creative? 6, yes. Sorry, it's probably all going blurred. Wonderful. Happy days. Little treat for myself and a little gift from the lovely Sarah. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep your little note inside the book always, so I'll never forget. Somebody liked my videos enough that they wanted to send me a gift. It's amazing. Oh, don't. Crikey, I'll be crying again. If you saw me colouring confessions where I burst into a ridiculous amount of tears, I'm going to go back to this Neocolor too for a second. Burst into a ridiculous amount of tears over a page by Colouring with K because it just touched me so much. Perimenopause and menopause, wow. It is wild. It surely is wild. I can't wait to tell my husband that somebody sent me some of that. How lovely. Wow. What a lovely thing to do. What a lovely thing. I'm just going to take a minute actually. Silly me. Right, where were we? Here we go. I'm loving this darkness I'm getting around this house now. This little cabin. This is my idea of heaven, living in a place like this. I love Bob Ross. I'd love to live in a Bob Ross painting. That would be my true idea of heaven. Do we have anybody up there in Alaska way or Canada way? Was he Alaska, Bob Ross? Or was he Canada? Either way. Do I have any viewers in Canada? In fact, I know I do. I've got a lovely lady in British Columbia who chats, who comments from time to time. I'll do. Do you know what? I've got a lot of people that I enjoy watching on YouTube that are in the UK, Australia, Canada, I think, Netherlands, and the US. But I'd love to know Are you aware of any creators that are in Asia, so any part of Asia, or even Africa, or even mainland, more, you know, not, well, even, yeah, mainland Europe, not so much Netherlands. I've got quite a few that I watch there. But Germany, French, any French creators that are popular? I think because the algorithms kind of get used to what you're watching, so they just send you more at the same. But I'd like to keep an open mind. What about Japan and China? So yeah, if you watch anybody that is outside the UK, US and Australia, and you enjoy the content, will you maybe Eastern Europe as well? Will you let me know who they are so I can take a look at them, please? Because I'd love to kind of find out what's going on in that neck of world as well, in the colouring community. I think I follow somebody called Life of Momo, is it? And also Neko Simi. They're both great. And there's a watercolour person called Black Canary. I don't know actually where she is. Yes, please do pop it in the comments. I would love to kind of know who else is out there in the places that YouTube isn't showing me. I follow a guy, I subscribe to a guy called Chi Sim, and he's, I watched his, in fact I found him, I think, because he did, no, I already subscribed actually. He did the first flip through that I saw of Winter Wonder. So I've been trying to watch a few of his videos. So hello, if ever he gets to see this, hi. Don't think he will. But I think he might be somewhere in Asia. He might not be. He speaks with an accent, which is lovely. But he could live in New York. He could live in London. So I'm just assuming that. You know what assuming does? It makes an ass out of you and me. Do you get it? I don't think this has turned out as good as when I did the pink and purple, but I had more space to kind of like, you know, let loose. But I do like it. I do like what's going on here. My husband is out on his motorcycle testing his, well, he can't be testing it now because it's dark. It's just gone dark here in the UK. But he's testing his new Insta360 camera, which he has bought himself but has no idea how to use. And apparently he's relying on me to understand how to edit his videos. Well, I've enough on trying to understand how to edit videos on my phone, never mind on an actual 360-degree camera. I mean, how is that possible? Do you know what blows my mind? Photography and television. How we capture images of ourselves. It's still... How does that even work? It blows my mind, it really does. Right, I'm going to leave that. That'll probably be the last time I touch water for the rest of this page, but I'm glad I did it. It's another little bit of practice with the Neocolor tools, doing that sort of dappled effect. I might just smooth out things with I might try and find a good pencil match and smooth out some of the shading just where it hits these elements. Otherwise, let's get back to our pencil shading. So Sarah, if you are watching this, now I've composed myself, thanks again, and I will I will be colouring something in that very soon, I hope. Maybe December. I say very soon, you might think that means November, but boy, you won't believe what's on my list for November. And I really want to take my time with it, whatever I do. That is the kind of stuff I would have drawn. Not to that, not that good, but I loved sitting and drawing strong women, Amazonian women. I didn't draw men, I'll be honest, I never drew men. But I liked drawing women. Long flowing hair. Superhero boots. Wonder Woman type costumes. It really does matter what paper you're using, doesn't it, when it comes to pencils, because I've used, I've tested these Prismacolors, and, you know, everybody says how buttery they are. But that pencil I was using there, I think sometimes, do you find this in your pencil sets, right? If you get a very light or icy looking blue or pink, do you sometimes find them a little bit chalky and scratchy? If you know what I mean, you know, like an icy blue, very pastel colour, very pale blue. I always find them quite chalky, not pleasant to colour with. This is going to take some set time, isn't it? If I decide to, I'll keep my eye on time and things like that. I might have to like fast forward or skip, you know, when I'm just doing repetitive stuff, just so I can get these 2 parts, this page done in 2 parts, really. But I figure we're going to have to come to this background anyway, aren't we? Unless, well, you don't have to, you could leave it white if you wanted. But I like to have something behind the main elements in a page. I'm thinking about next week having a no editing week. So I don't actually mean no videos, but I'm definitely going to take a bit more time for actual colouring next week rather than filming. Just so I can make sure I'm getting the pages completed that I really want to complete. So that's next week. I think I'm going to take a little bit after this video, probably after this video goes up before part 2. You'll just probably see some short bits from me next week, because I upload a lot, don't I? And, you know, there's a risk I might be putting you off. That's one thing. You've never to feel forced to watch. It's always there for when you do want to watch, you know. We all go off things now and again, you know. Sometimes I go off my hobby and I just need a break from it, and then you come back to it, don't you? And that's the same for my YouTube watching. I'll watch colouring on YouTube for 6 weeks straight, and then all of a sudden I'll have 3 weeks where I watch true crime. So you can see I'm not exactly keeping it dark blue down here and just working it. I'm just doing it where I fancy. So there's dark blue bits, there's light blue. I don't mind. When all this is on, I think it's going to look awesome. You've got to have confidence in yourself, haven't you? It's going to look awesome, Joe. No 2 ways about it. Lots of people gave me some good advice with Prismas as well, off the back of my Look at Me Trying Prismas video. You know, before I bought them, I tried a small tin of 12. And I really appreciated it. A lot of people are saying that they do actually colour with them more like polychromos, where you build up layers, which is what I'm more used to, than smushing them together. So I will be experimenting with things And you've just got to remember there's no right or wrong way to use media. You should see some of the stuff that people are doing with water, using water with media that you would never think. I would have never thought of it. There's a lady who I mention quite a lot because she's awesome, Jackie at Spare Room Studio, and Axic Fumbles, and Maya, coloured by Maya. They're three women who do all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff with media, so check them out. And Jackie, I've seen her adding water to water-based markers, which I would just never think to do. It just won't cross my mind to do it. But she does, and she gets some great results. So the same goes for pencils. You might think that there's a right or wrong way for me to be using these Prismacolors, but there isn't really. There might be an easier way. That's the thing. You might know of an easier way that I could be using them to make my life easier, to get what I'm trying to achieve out of them more easily and more quickly maybe. But there's no really right or wrong, is there? I think we can agree on that. This space is pretty cool, the colouring space, for just letting people do what they want. I think it's because it's artistic and creative in it, so inherently it's a hobby where trying things is encouraged. Creativity, ingenuity, all the it is. I don't mind so much work like this sometimes, you know, where it's a bit monotonous. It is good for relaxing I've just finished a Kirby page, Sphinx. And there were loads of like stone and sand type, you know, pyramids and all that sort of stuff. A lot of brown. But it was so relaxing doing it. Even though it was like monotonous. I think if you're in a rush, or you're wanting to get to something else, it will feel like a big drag. But if you're actually just colouring to switch off, it kind of makes me realise why people do stuff like mandalas and colour by numbers, actually, because neither of those things appeal to me. But I don't judge people, me, so if somebody's into colour by numbers, I think, there's a reason for that. There's a lot of people into colour by numbers, so you know, all those people can't be wrong. It must be giving them something. They must be getting something out of it. So never judge. I never judge me. Just, you know. Keep an open mind. I might even, I was saying on my colouring confessions, no intention of doing really any grayscale. That doesn't appeal to me, but never say never. So many people are loving it. Let's try. Can I go back over here now? Because it bothers me that I've got this gap. Yes. If you're wondering what this is, I just don't like it when my hand touches the page. So I like a little bit of paper towel down. I'm quite impatient. Could be doing some lighter layers with these Prismacolors. While I'm here as well, I want to mention a channel that's it's really new, actually, really new. And she's a cracking lass. I've been talking to her for a while because we met each other on Instagram, I would say, just generally in the community. We've frequented the same places, which is usually Jess at Colouring Bumblebees Live. So if you go in there, you definitely meet people. And you learn, you know, you see familiar names popping up, and you know, these people become your colouring friends. So I met Holly of Hollyberry Colours. I forget where I met her, actually. In fact, you know what the funny thing is the first time she messaged me, I'm sure she messaged me, She's got the cracking sense of humour, and I felt right familiar with her. Have you ever had this with a person? I felt like I could be right. Me and my best friend in non-colour in life. She, my best friend Sue, me and her can call each other all sorts of names, you know, and it's like terms of endearment, if you get what I'm saying. So we'll be right. And I think first time I spoke to Ollie, I think I called her a rude name. I think she were apologising for something, and I told her not to be so bloody daft, and I might have called her a little naughty word. Because I just felt so comfortable with her for some bizarre reason. And she took it all in a stride, and I thought, oh yeah, I've judged her right. She's wicked. But she's decided to start a YouTube channel about a week or two ago. And she's the reason I meant bringing her up is because she's a really good Prismacolor advocate. She really advocates for Prismas. She does love them. She loves other brands as well, you know, in case she's thinking of getting deals. I better say that. But she loves the Prismas, and she's really good with them as well. So if you're a Prismacolor colorist, you like somebody laid back and chilled. If you like my content, I would say you'd like hers, but hers is probably more informative. So go check her out, Hollyberry Colours, and she's on Instagram as well. She's a lovely, lovely lass, American. Do you know something? I've not met many Americans in my life until I got into colouring, and they're absolutely fantastic people. Well, in fact, to be honest, the whole community is brilliant. But yeah, I've got a lot of US subscribers, as well as from other places in the world. But I think they make up the majority. And I really, really, really appreciate everybody who gets in touch. And like I say, a lot of them are from US and are always really kind and complimentary. And just very open and giving straight away, you know. Just approachable and chatty. That's how I find them, you know. I didn't realise Americans were so chatty. Or maybe it's just colourists that are chatty. But I like a good natter as well, so it was working out well for me. I love a good chin wag, as we call it. Try to think if there's anybody else I want to give a little mention to. Not that I've got like a massive amount of viewers. I've got more than enough to make me feel happy, put it that way. But I'm just trying to think who I'm enjoying watching at the moment. I'm watching Colouring with Kay, I love, but she's not small create. She's been going some time. She knows her stuff. I like the creators that have got right polished content, you know, where they've got studio lighting and they show the faces and edits all slick and stuff, like Kira from Pictured Purpose. I like her channel. But I'm most at home with people who are just colouring like me. Because they love it. See, I've given myself a challenge. This is 2 worlds at the moment. Be interesting to see what I can do with it. Shell's colouring journey. She's not a small creator. She's big as well, but if you like that super smooth shading look, you should check out her page if you haven't already. Problem is when I mention people in my video, I have to then tag them in it, and I always think to myself, if I don't, it looks like I'm just, I don't know, not giving them credit for how they've inspired me. So I feel like I should tag them, but then I talk about people that much. I think they'll get annoyed if I keep tagging them. So I don't know what to do for best. I've got some content coming up on buddying, actually, because as somebody who is new to the colouring community, relatively new, I'm kind of new, but I've spent a lot of hours. If you added up my hours in the community, my hours colouring in the last 4 months, you know, it'd be quite vast. So what I've found though is, if you're new to the colouring community, or if you can cast your mind back, did you find buddying? Did you feel like you wanted to buddy but found it a bit intimidating and didn't really? Nobody really talks about how it works. Is there actually rules to how it works? Or, you know, every creator's different. I've realised a lot of things about buddying as a newcomer who was looking for buddies, and now as a creator who gets people coming to me asking me if I want to buddy. I've got lots of kind of just thoughts on it. Not a serious video, like more like laid back and funny. Might not be funny, but you know what I mean. Light-hearted, no grumbles at all good stuff. So I've got some content coming up on that I want to do, because I just think it'd be lovely because I know I felt like, am I the only one who has no idea what's going on here? What are you supposed to do? What is it for? Why do we do it? I want to do it, but why do we do it? What do we have to think about? Who posts the page first? Hey? If you're buddying with a big creator, and you like to post your page as soon as you've done it, do you have to wait for your buddy to finish theirs before, you know, would they prefer it if you didn't even post yours until you're both finished? And then even if you've both finished, what if one of them's a content creator who does a completed pages video? You can't go posting their picture before they do, surely. All these questions go around in your head, don't they? Well, they do if you're me, because I'm a massive overthinker. But yeah, so I thought I'd do a little video on that, and just like, because there is no rules, you know, you could go back and try and find out who invented it, who invented buddying. But there is no rules to it. It is it's a personal thing. It just takes a discussion, doesn't it, really, with the person that you're buddying. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a nice video for people like me who are new into the community and are wondering, because I certainly did. I had to put my big girl pants on, and I asked somebody to buddy when I first started, and you know, I didn't have a clue what I was supposed to be doing in terms of like the etiquette. I think that's what I'm talking about, the etiquette of buddying. That's what we'll call it. So yeah, if anybody puts a video up about that, they've nicked me a video idea. As if I have best ideas. I do try coming up with hashtags and things like that, but you have to try stuff, don't you? Sometimes the work. To be fair, I've done this November thing, and somebody's actually done a November picture, and I'm right pleased. In fact, I'll show you it if I can find it. So November was about us saying nay to any Christmas colouring, if you just want to be a bit grinchy like me, until December. I like to keep Christmas till December, so hashtag November is all about that. So instead of colouring Christmas stuff, we colour horses. So I've got some horse pages lined up. I just haven't, do you know what? I haven't got to them yet, and I really want to. So I do need to. I've got a lot going on colouring wise, haven't I? I have all these bright ideas. I'm going to do this colour along. I'm going to do that colour along. Will you buddy with me here? Will you buddy with me there? And this is me asking people, not them asking me. I'll get all these buddies lined up. And, you know, time just before you know it. What are we on? 14th month now? Tomorrow? So, yes, busy, but I am going to get some November pages done. I've got them lined up. There's a great one in Mythographic with 2 horses. Mythic beasts, is it? Mythical beasts. Yeah, 2 horses coming out at sea and that. Oof. Seahorses. Well, they're not seahorses, they're horses with webbed feet. Really fancy that one. So I'm going to do that picture for November. Because even though I kind of started that little hashtag with a sense of humour, half serious, half not, I think if you do put some out there, you've got to follow through, haven't you? So, plus I love colouring horses. Tell you what, that's you'll know this if you've seen my. I'm just checking I'm not colouring anything I shouldn't be. If you've seen my flip through on my RJ colour along, I mentioned this, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but blooming heck, don't he draw a horse as well? I messaged him to tell him. Messaged him just to say, you draw horses really, really well. Like, you don't need my feedback. But maybe you could do an horsey book. And his florals. Really, really surprised by his florals. He's clearly just super talented. But yeah, I love horses, me. That's another thing I drew a lot as a kid. I think a lot of girls drew horses, didn't we? I certainly did. Tell me in comments, did you draw horses? If you're a young girl, if you're a woman, cast your mind back when you were a kid. When you were drawing, did you draw horses? I did. I thought I were brilliant at them as well. I'd love to see some pictures now. I bet they're diabolical. Need to remember my own words, don't I? There's no bad art, Joe. Nothing, no such thing as bad art. But yeah, his horses and his florals, fantastic. I'd love to see a horsey book from him, with some flowers in. Floral horses and strong women. Because do you know what else I like that he does? The people, not the so much the Mr. Fogarty side of things. People, you know, like his more fantasy stuff. Elvins and warriors and things like that. If you are looking for a video to watch on a slightly different note now, the Colouring Confessions video that I put out, it's kind of a tag that's going around in the YouTube, amongst the YouTube creators. What I'd be interested in, it's a shame we can't figure out a way of doing it, but I suppose you could just answer in comments. But I'd love to know what your answers are to some of those questions as well. Particularly the Holy Grail book question, which I've asked before on my channel, but I always love to hear what people are looking for. So, you know, the book that's out of print that you can't find anywhere. I added that question on when I did my Colouring Confessions, which was a tag started by Shell's Colouring Journey. It's such a fun tag for us to do. 23 questions she gave us to answer about our colouring and our colouring books. So I really enjoyed doing that video, but I added an extra question on the end asking what people's Holy Grail book was. So if you feel like telling me, do so in the comments, because I'm always interested to know. And what I find to do is when I the problem is I'll never remember who said what, but I always then have a little look. You know, when I'm looking for my Holy Grail books, I always have a little look. And I can tell the creator or whoever they are that I've spotted them on eBay or whatever. I'm really liking this, but I'll be honest, the tones of these blues, I don't know whether I just want it right light when I were looking, because I'm usually quite good. But they're just not in the same world at the moment. However, as I keep saying, I'm still confident that we can bring it together. I've never failed yet. Well, not to my mind. Might be about time I sharpen these pencils again. Just for anybody new as well who may not remember, I'm not a big burnisher. That's because I'm not fixed on it being super smooth, isn't it, really? And blended. I don't mind things being a little bit rough around the edges. But if you like burnishing, burnish away. Get them gorgeous smooth blends. I'm going to work on that technique in New Year. There's lots of things I want to develop in my skills as a colourist next year. Okay, so these two areas are joined up now, and I am liking what I'm seeing in terms of the background. It is quite a piece of work though, that, isn't it? I wonder, would you have gone directly into, would you have done the background like this first, or would you have gone, but look how clearly I can see what I'm looking at now, you know? So I am happy that I've done this. Is it exciting for the colour along with me? Probably not, but you know, you can't just colour the exciting bits. Excuse me, sharpener. You can't just colour the exciting bits on a page, can we? Well, you can do. I think that's how whips come about, isn't it? Sometimes we get excited and we think, ooh, I like that cute little whatever there. I want to colour this. Then once you've got that element coloured, you're like, So I'm definitely a person who, in life in general, in every aspect of life, I will save the best till last. So if I'm eating a lovely meal, this is how you can get overweight quickly. Save best till last, because then if you're full beforehand, before you get to your best bit, you still want to plough through, so you overeat. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. But yeah, save the best elements to last me on a page. If I'm not just working my way across it. I like how I've been varying where I put the blue. You know, so it's like as if I've got some dark, if it were like, you know, like dark clouds in the background. I'm liking that. Alexa, how long's left on that timer?
You have 36 minutes left on your 2-hour timer.
Shut the front door. Gordon Bennett. Well. Maybe I need to pick up the pace. Or it'll just have to be 3 parts. I think I'll colour for 3 hours. Well, I'll colour for as long as I feel like it, to be fair. But I'll try and make sure you are not getting a video much longer than 2. Doesn't matter with the colour on, does it? Because it's keeping you company while you're colouring. So, you know, it's something that you can stop and then come back to. It's not a video that you have to watch and watch to the end in one sitting. So it doesn't really matter how long it is if I can get it uploaded. That's the way I look at it. And you know, at the end of the day, this is what I've decided to do with background, so I'm an idiot. Oh, look at that. They normally say that happens with prisms, don't they? That were a Derwent Chromaflow. One moment while I sharpen it. think what I'll do now is give you guys just a small interlude, bit of music for just 1 minute while I get a little bit more of this done, and it just means I can speed it up a little bit for the length of the video. So I am still here and colouring. I'm just not talking for a short while because I'm going to fast forward this part anyway. But you can still see what I'm doing. Alright, I shall be back very, very soon. Okay, so that's just, if you can hear that noise in the background, it's just my husband pulling up. So I will be going and making our dinner, but this episode isn't going to be left here because I haven't had my full fix of this page yet. So I'll show you what I did. I just cut away for a little bit because I wanted to make sure that I could store it all on the phone, all the footage. So I've stopped here, although this circle that she's drawn continues round here. You can see with the stippling. So I'm not going to do this colour. I like that just looks like a background to whatever this scene is, but I do see these two scenes separate, if you know what I mean. Otherwise you wouldn't have a circle, would you? What you could do is, if you're doing this, I mean, if you've started it's too late, but how we could have approached this differently is we could have continued this type of background behind the log cabin, but then you've got this black line that just separates it all, you know. There's a definite circle there that she's drawn in, and it's just a line. So she must have seen it as, this is an element, this is a way of framing this scene, if that makes sense, but they're not necessarily one scene. But there could be. You could just colour and just pretend that black line doesn't exist. But I've kept it separate, so it's as if this is framing this scene, like a 2-in-1. But there will be cohesion, and I'm no longer worried about the tone of this blue compared to these blues and greens, because I think when we've got some other greens in, it's going to give it balance. And I also think I'll do something clever. I use the term loosely. I'll do something clever with the metallics that I'm going to use on these stars, because I think, can you see here? I think I'll add a few metallics. And wouldn't maybe a mix of these two tie in, because these exist between this area and this area? Wouldn't a mix of these two colours, Michelero watercolours, lovely and shimmery, wouldn't that'd create cohesion between this area and this area? So I'm no longer worried about what I said I was worried about, you know, with regards to this being in a kind of a different world than this colour. I'm no longer worried at all. It's going to be fantastic. I'm excited about this page. You could carry on shading around the back of it. Whoa! God, you scared life out of me then, lad. You could carry on shading either side of these trees, creating more of a square, if you like, with your shading. But I've elected not to do that. I think the trees frame it just nice. So yeah, my finished image will just be within the illustration. I love it. You don't have to do this background at all. You could just concentrate on this scene and the main elements in this framing. But I like what I've done. So I'm going to make dinner, and then we're going to move on to this area. I might look at smoothing out this. That feels fine. By the way, it's not crinkly at all, really. Shall we take a look at how that water media's taken? I like to have everything pinned down, don't I? By the way, you probably know this, but I've only learnt it to my... 1 second. Just noticed that washi tape there, and it reminded me of something I wanted to mention. I bought these from Amazon yonkies ago. They're like little, you know, page markers. Sticky up to a certain point on the back. You can move them, stick them back down again. However, I've marked a lot of my pages in my books with them when I first started colouring. So say back in July, August, I will put in these in my books. In fact, it'll have been, yeah, July-ish. I put a lot of these in a lot of my books, and I've only this week gone and pulled them all out. And no matter how gently I've pulled, it's torn the paper in some. So, and I think it's a time thing, the longer it's stuck there. You guys might know this, but for anybody who don't, just be aware of that. These little things that you're leaving in your books, or it might be washi tape, if you leave it in a while, it's a bit like masking fluid, which I've also learnt to my detriment. The longer it's on, the more likely it is to tear the paper. So I've torn a few pages, sadly. Not so I can't colour them, but it's annoying. So yeah, don't trust them for longer than, you know, they're a temporary marker. So those were in like 2 or 3 months in my books. And yes, they've torn, so just be careful with them. Let's have a look then, see what damage it's done. Oh, absolutely none. And you saw how much water were pooling here. Excellent. That's really good to know about Rita's books then. I mean, people obviously know this who've used water in them before, but I didn't know, and now I do. That's wonderful. Fantastic, yeah. Cracking. Ooh, something to think about. Right then, I'm going to go make dinner, and then I'll come back and we'll do this bit. For you guys, it'll just be a couple of seconds. Dinner was delicious, thank you for asking. And now I'm returning back to this page. It's actually the next day because after dinner I had a glass of wine with dinner, and I got chatting to the hub, and we had a lovely evening. So I didn't get back to my page, but it's the next day. It's pouring with rain outside, so me and Rocket are here nice and cosy. He's not been out for his walk because it's, you know, siling it down. So hopefully we'll stay a little quiet. I've got some Bonio biscuits on hand in case he needs something to entertain him for all of 2 minutes. But hopefully we'll get through and do another chunk of this page, which I'm really enjoying. And I feel good about it. I really, really do. I think it's now going to start coming together. I'm going to work on... I thought it would be nice to leave this section for part 2. So I'm going to work on these trees now, and I think I'd like to... I'm going to step outside my comfort zone with this page. I've never done a tree. I've never coloured a tree that isn't brown. So I'm going to be a brave colourist, and I'm going to try some different colours on these trees because they are wild and wacky. I mean, it invites doing something a little bit different, doesn't it? Rita's kind of saying, clearly you can go for anything you like on my pages. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's a big step for me because I am somebody who, when it comes to nature, I generally will stick with colours that I know. You know, the browns, the oranges, earthy tones, for things like that. Anyway, let's crack on with it. So these are the purple shades that I've picked out. We have Black Grape, Parma Violet, Amethyst and Greyed Lavender, and I really love that. That's quite muted. Lovely colours. And I think I'm going to have some green in there. Now, do I want to use the Prisma greens? So I'm deciding I'd like to have some greens in the trees. I'm just thinking which will pop nice against the blue, you see. The blue and the turquoise. I think I might go for the Luminance. But these are, you know, there's Prismacolor options if you're using Prismacolors, which I'll no doubt use on some of the other greenery in the foreground. But yeah, I think for now I'm going to try the Caran Luminance. So I've got these three, which are Cobalt Green, middle verdigris and dark sap green. And I think I'm going to let Rita's design lead me, even though she probably didn't mean it to. We've got some triangle designs and some circular designs. I think I'm pretty much going to ignore them and just leave the line work as a feature on this tree bark, on this really creative tree bark. So I don't think I'm going to colour those designs in a different colour. I may do when I see what it looks like, but what I'm going to do is, wherever it's triangular, let's say, I'm going to do green, and I'm going to try and blend it into purple where it's circles. I don't have to do that, but I just thought that's what I'll do. That'll be my rule of thumb. So yeah, I'm going to start, shall I go green into purple? Or purple into green. I might mix it up. I might do bits. I might do all sorts. Who knows? I'm just going to go for it. So what shall I start with? Let me start with this black grape. I'll just pop them to one side for a second. So if you are watching this video, I've obviously fast forwarded in my life overnight. I want to tell you about a video I watched last night on YouTube as well. I watched, I subscribed to Diane Dreams in Colour. Let me know if you also subscribe to her. And I was watching her October completed pages video. And she's going through really the worst of times at the moment. So if you don't follow her, she's a great creator. So please, after you've watched this video, I'll try and remind you at the end. Or just nip there now and, you know, subscribe so she's on your list for later. But show her some love if you can. And if you watch a video, please do give it a like. She's got some goals for her YouTube channel. And it'd be lovely. She's kind of trying to focus on that to take her mind off what's going on in her life. And it is really just, she tells you a little bit about it at the start of the video. But it's, I know myself, nothing worse. So yeah, please do give her some love. Diane Dreams in Colour. Plus you get to see some of the fantastic completed pages. Bonus. I've also just watched do you know, I love this lass, Jennifer at Told You Wood Colours. She's such a sweetheart. I've just watched her, just while we're having a little bit of lunch. Just watched her little colouring corner tour. Would you like to see the corner of my space where I create my pages and colour my pages? Is that something, a short video, would that appeal to you? I might do that. Thought it were a nice idea. So good idea, Jennifer. She's got a lovely little colouring corner in her living space, just like me. I'll pop anybody I mention. I will try and put links to their channel in the description box. These are nice colours, aren't they? In the Prismas. Kind of just concentrating on thinking, this feels a bit weird. It feels a bit weird doing a purple tree. But I'm going to just have fun with this page. I mean, how can you not on a page like this? And I hope you're doing the same. And don't forget, if you started off with the same colour palette, thinking that you might actually colour along, and then you see something I do and think, oh no, that's one step too far, do your own thing. Just, you know, adapt. Do whatever you like, whatever makes you happy. I've kind of missed Rita. I've not done many Rita pages. I think I've only done 2. At the end of the day, when you've only been colouring for 4 months and you've got over 50 books, you're not going to get many pages done in the same books, are you? But yeah, I've kind of missed doing a little Rita. What do you reckon to the size of Rita's books? I mean, these size. I know she's got some bigger ones. If you've got both, have the bigger ones changed your colouring experience in Rita books? Did it bother you that how small the books were? Does size matter? I've done a little short video on that, a little tag, and quite a few of my favourite creators joined in to show they measured their biggest books in square centimetres, and it was fascinating for me because quite a few of them had this one particular book called The Book of Beasts, and I think it's illustrated by Angela Rizza, I think that's the name. So I had to buy it, didn't I? So that's going on into my library in January, when I've obviously finished with my goal. But that looks a fantastic book. And you know what's amazing about when you do a different tag like that, and it causes people to look into the collection and they're pulling books out to show us that they haven't coloured in for a while. You get to see loads of cool stuff. I saw Fantastic Worlds on somebody's. Now, who showed me Fantastic Worlds? I don't know whether it was part of that big book tag. But yeah, Fantastic Worlds. I thought that was a cracking looking book. If you've never seen it, take a look, by Alessandra Fusi. Again, a fantastic book, but yet I see no completed pages in it. Do you think it's because we all kind of we get so excited about new books that we colour in them, and we sometimes forget about us older books? It's obviously not happened to me because I'm still new to colouring, so I haven't had a chance to have all books yet. All my books are new to me. I know what I'm going to do with these markings. I'm going to add little silvery bits, little bits of shimmer or metallics or something. A little bit of magical twinkle. This is very much a trust the process moment, even for myself, because like I say, I've always just done trees brown. How do you fare with that aspect of colouring? Can you colour things, you let your imagination run wild, or like me, have you always kind of coloured things in the colour that they would be in real life? What have you got, mister? One moment. I just had to bring out the bonios for the lad there. See, this is quite a challenge for me, because my brain works in a way that, you see this little area here from this first tree, you can see that Rita's illustrated it as if it's going behind this tree, so my brain wants to know where's it disappeared to. There should be part of a tree coming there, shouldn't there? and that probably don't bother most people. And these bits coming up here, I can see that's connected to that bit, and that bit could be that bit. What are these two bits? So yeah, it's a massive challenge for me, this. I'm glad I included it in the choices for today's colour along though, because I like to challenge myself. But I'll be honest with you, I'm well out of my comfort zone here at the moment. But I'm enjoying it still. I'm just nothing's coming natural to me on a page like this. Whereas if you sat me down in front of a Leila Dooley botanical picture, where in the back it'll tell me what flower I'm looking at, or fruit or whatever, that's very comforting to me. I'm very comfortable with that. But the more you push yourself into a place that you're not comfortable with, I think the more your skills will develop, but also your own style. And I think that's important as well. To somebody who's always been interested in art stuff anyway, I don't know how important it is to you as a colourist, but it's quite important to me to have eventually my own style. I don't want to really work at finding the style, but I'm just hoping if I try things, it will come naturally. And then even I could look at my pages in future and maybe think, yeah, that's definitely a me page, you know. I'm trying to think if there's any colourists that are popping my head now where I'm thinking they've got a really unique style. I can kind of, you know, when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I can kind of tell, I could tell coloured by Maya, I think, straight away. I think I'd be able to, you know, if I was scrolling through Instagram quite quick, I reckon I could pick hers out when I was quick scrolling without seeing her name. I'm still really new to these Luminance, you know, and I'm not sure how I feel about these either. I really enjoyed them on a couple of pages I did, but that was in Fairy Tales and Folklore. What else have I tried them in since? I would have never, now I've tried them, I would have never have paid full price for them, 100%. There's no way that they're worth that to me. But they don't feel like they're working as good on this paper as they did on in Fairy Tales and Folklore. Maybe I need to go a little bit lighter of hand. I tend to be, as I keep saying, quite heavy-handed. Excuse me. Blowing. I know some people don't like the blowing. I've still not got anywhere sorted for Christmas. I'm trying to find a little cabin somewhere pretty. I'll go anywhere. We usually go to Scotland. I don't mind as long as it's not at home. It's just nice to get away. Need to start thinking about presents for grandkids as well. And my nephew, who is at a funny age now, he's 14, And obviously for a few years now he's you know, understands about Santa. Because they grow up quite fast now, don't they? 14. They know more than we'd like them to know, don't they? In all aspects. But I went to see him last weekend actually. Went for some dinner with my brother and his partner and my nephew. It was lovely to see him. In the summer he had his first girlfriend, so I met her as well, but sadly the relationship has not lasted, so I didn't press him about it because they can be quite sort of, I think he's quite introverted. He's my nephew. He's a sweet guy, sweet lad. So yeah, it's more difficult. Like this for the first birthday. His birthday was in September. First birthday where he didn't want something cool. He just wanted clothes, money for clothes. So I did a deal with him. Not his last birthday before. So when he was going from 12 to 13, I bought him. He wanted some Crocs, so I got him some Crocs. And I got him a book that I thought he might like. I did my kind of research, what were popular with, you know, young teens or young adults or whatever, for lads, you know, for reading fiction. Because I'm a I love reading, and I think it's a lovely thing. It's quite intimidating to reading to some people, and I understand it. And I think if you don't break that, you'll never be a reader, and you won't get to enjoy the wonderful books that there is, and the wonderful thing that reading can give you. Peace, you know, it can take you away, escapism, all that good stuff. And it doesn't matter if you end up not being a reader, but there's a lot of pleasure in reading, I think, and I really would like him to experience it. So I bought him a book that I thought he'd like, and I wrote him a little note, and I said that if he read the whole book and he decided he wanted to read another book, for as long as I'm you know, alive, I will always buy his next book that he wants, his next fiction book, you know, if he's reading for pleasure. So that's the deal. So it didn't finish it quickly. It took him quite a while. In fact, I think it was early summer. So he got this book in September, got me a little note, understood the deal. So he read little bits at bedtime, he said. And he said it was a really good book. And he right enjoyed it. So he'd Googled, and there were 3 more in like you know, a series. So he texted me and said, "Auntie Jo, can I finished my book, can I have next book?" And it was just like the best feeling in the world that had kind of influenced him, if you like, into reading, and he had actually enjoyed it. So I said, "You can have next 3." So I sent him next 3 ones, so they'll see him right for, you know, a good, certainly this year and maybe into next. But just to have him reading, and I was so chuffed that he tried it, because I think I just kind of half expected him just to think, "Oh yeah, whatever, Auntie Jo, reading's boring." But I thought I'd try it, and it worked. So yeah, I was so chuffed. So yeah, just to not have an intimidation about reading, or a lack of confidence, or just to assume it's boring. And he's a PlayStation kid, you know what I mean, or an Xbox kid. So to have him reading a book, a lad at 13 as he was then, really chuffed. I like reading. I've always read my whole life, but I think probably as an adult I used to catch the bus to my workplace, which was 45 minutes each way, you know, in my early 20s and that. So I started reading Patricia Cornwell novels, if anybody's ever read them. She has a main character who's a forensic pathologist, that kind of thriller. The pathologist, it's called the Case Carpenter series. I think the first book was Postmortem. I've heard actually that they're going to make, or have I dreamt this? They're going to make them into a movie. So I'm looking forward to that if it's actually happening. Do you like reading? I love it. But I tend to, now I'm colouring, do it a lot less. And as I'm getting older, I have a bit of a problem with insomnia, but I don't have a problem with getting to sleep when I first go to bed. I can go to sleep. The problem is it affects me in that I just wake up maybe an hour and a half into the night, and then I'm awake on and off all night then. So like last night, I think I probably had, wasn't too bad, I had about 4 hours, which is good for me. 4 hours, I would say, combined. So now, yeah, so I used to read at bedtime when I was younger, but now I can't keep my eyes open because I'm that exhausted because I've got a bit of insomnia, that I'm exhausted all the time, really. I've actually sometimes been colouring and nearly fallen asleep, you know. Just doing this with me, and I start to go, and I take myself off for a little nana nap on the sofa. Nana nap. That's what we call like a nap like an old person. Nana is, I don't know whether it's the same in your country, but, well, it will be, yeah, because I think in it, sort of, in Italy, you have nonna, is that grandma. So nana is what we call our grandparents sometimes. I don't, my grandparents were always called grandma and granddad. But yeah, when you have a little afternoon snooze, we call it a nana nap here. Some of us. So yeah, I'm falling asleep in day sometimes. It's just, I can get to sleep, but I just don't stay asleep. And then at night, when there's nothing to occupy me, I just think about things. Think. I overthink everything. I don't know whether that's sort of partly menopause. I weren't always like this. I started with poor sleep when my mum passed. She had an aneurysm in the September of the year that she died, and then she passed on. She was in hospital. She was in a coma for a little bit. Then she was she was out of coma, and we thought she had a AAA aneurysm, so something aorta aneurysm. It's just central, like, blood vessel system, I think, that goes down centre of your body. Don't know why I'm pointing to myself because you can't see. And it caused, anyway, she had an aneurysm. Coma, then she was out at coma, and obviously she had irreparable damage to, like, kidneys, and I don't really understand what happened. But it was an awful time because she was in hospital for months and months and months. We were planning, you know, for when she came out to have dialysis and all this. She was going to have to be on dialysis for life. So I was preparing to kind of care for her and be that person that helped her with that, because it's not something you can do at home alone. And it was just, you know, we thought she was going to pull through but have trouble with some things. But then she just had some sort of clot in base of her neck or base of her brain or something in the November, and she passed away on well, we kind of lost her about a week before, so early November, and then she passed away on Remembrance Day, which is 11th of November. And it was just, even though like she'd been poorly for months, so September, October, November, it was still just a shock. She'd only been retired. She'd been a grafter all her life, my mother. She'd done a little bit of everything, but always worked. Never once found herself on benefits, because, you know, that she just didn't understand that not working. She always worked. She's got a really good work ethic. So she retired, 63 she was, retired, and then a few months later my mum and dad bought a caravan. Some of us in the UK, when we get older, or even not when we get older, when we're still young, we like to buy caravans at the coast. So they're like, in America you would call them trailers, I guess. So they bought the caravan, which was a dream. My mum and dad to have a little caravan at the coast, like a holiday home that they could bolt to at weekends. So she were there when it happened. She just happened, and she'd only been retired a few months, and they just bought this caravan. Thought they were going to enjoy the retirement. So it just shows you, I never guaranteed. Never guaranteed time. You never know when your time's up. And I don't want it to be depressing. I can't remember how I got onto the subject now. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, my sleep got, when my mum were in hospital, my sleep got really, really bad. And I was spending a lot of time, I just didn't go home. I just stayed at the hospital the whole time. But then when she passed, I don't know whether I coped with my grief in a very healthy way, because I think now it's affecting me, and this is 10 years later. So I coped very well at the time, and I kind of coped for everybody else in family. But I think it's had a bit of a negative lasting effect on me. And I think my insomnia is part of that. Oh, postman's just been. Didn't have to knock, so it can't be a big package. Must just be letters, bills. So yes, you're not guaranteed any time, are you? You never know, so you have to make every day count. This is why you'll hear me say things like I don't save my pages, my favourite pages in books, to colour them later when I get better at colouring or whatever. Because you're just not guaranteed the time. If you've got I've got some amazing high quality watercolour paper that I want to do some paintings on. I won't be saving that, I'll be using it, because you're just not guaranteed any time. And I definitely don't want to depress you. I kind of just I would want to, if I was saying this to anybody, I'd hope it'd motivate them rather than anything else, just to make most of every blooming moment. And if you are somebody who, like me, I'm quite a homebody. If I can avoid going visiting people, I will, even though I love my brother. It's, I enjoy being at home, just doing my own thing. So what I would say is definitely don't miss those opportunities to see your loved ones who you don't live with, because I wish I'd have squeezed in a few more visits before she went. And she was my best mate, my mum, as well. She really was. I used to take her to London every year. We used to go for a mad weekend in London. We'd do theatre and all that sort of stuff, and we just used to laugh like hell. So yeah, I miss her like crazy. It's nuts. Nuts. But yeah, that's why I don't sleep very well, I think. Just never, don't know, just never got back into it. The saddest thing is as well, I wish she would have met my husband, but sadly I only met him a couple of years after we lost her. But I like to think she can see and know that she'd have bloody loved him and all. She would have. Yeah, grief's a tough thing to navigate, isn't it? It really, really is. Well, I do feel like I'm being a bit wild and crazy. Don't really. I'm sure anybody watching me colour this page at this moment is wondering, what the hell are you doing, lass? What are you doing? But just have faith. At this stage, there's one thing I've learned from colouring, it's, you don't have any idea what it's really going to look like until you're getting into that last portion, which for me won't be till next week. All those finishing touches that we had make a huge difference. Try and keep that in mind as well. I have decided that I've been thinking a lot about getting all Hannah Carlson's books, because I have the one that's now out of print that you can't get hold of, the Soulmates. That was the first book I bought because it was my favourite, so I'm alright for that one. I've had a look and there's still, I can still get my hands on every other, so I'm thinking about getting them all, because a few people have said to me, if you're a Hannah fan, you should think about stocking up on the books, because you know, I think people have seen what's happened with Soulmates, or Spirit Animals is his proper name, I think. Well, the English name anyway. So I'm thinking of getting them, and so, just so it's not on my mind. And when I looked at cost of them, I do like Hannah Carlson that much that I feel like I can maybe justify the cost. I'd like to have them, and that's me done then, isn't it? With Hannah Carlson, I can just colouring them. Don't have to worry about missing out. I've made sure that I got the ones that were important to me first, because Spirit Animals or Soulmates were my favourite, hands down. Definitely my favourite. So I got that, and then I thought, the second book I thought I'll get Grains of Gold, because that's a compilation. So if I don't ever get any other book, it's fine. I've got a little bit of some of them in that. But then I keep thinking, and I think what I'd like to do is, if I do get them, New Year, not January but February, I think I'm going to have give myself a treat and have a Hannah Carlson month, where, because you know, this goal that I keep talking about, if you're new and this is the first time you've seen this video, basically I was quite shocked at how many books I had still empty and I weren't getting around to colouring in them. So I'm on this quest to have every book in my colouring book library with a page coloured by the end of the year. So what I would need to do, and then the idea is if I achieve that goal, one second, if I achieve that goal by Christmas, the deal with myself is any new books I buy thereafter, any new books to go into my colouring book library, I have to colour before they go on shelf. So basically, any new books should be the next book that I'm colouring in. So if I did treat myself to all the books in one big go, in one fell swoop, I would need to prepare to colour in them all when I got them. So I think I might have a Hannah Carlson month in February. Not solely Hannah Carlson, I might do other things as well. I've had a look, and the list would be, that would give me, not including Merry Christmas or the Halloween book, and I wouldn't be bothered about the two more, you know, the two books that are a bit more kiddified, Space and I forget what the other one's called. I'm not bothered about them, but I think it would leave me with 12 Hannah Carlson books then, which would be the full set of the books that I like anyway, you know, the normal books. So yes, that would be quite achievable, I think. Hannah Carlson month, and then I can make sure I don't have guilty feelings about leaving them empty forever. I can at least get a page done in each book. Might work through them in order, actually. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Order of when she published them. So I'd start with Daydreams. This is different for me. I'm going to add a little bit more depth, I think, and I've obviously got highlights and other little things to add. I don't mind how it's looking. I feel pretty brave because I'm not comfortable with it. I don't mind how it's looking, but I'll be honest, I'm not comfortable with it at the moment. What colour have you gone for your trees? Are you going traditional? What approach are you taking? I should really watch more tutorials, me. I think I would maybe benefit from that, but what is it? Why don't I watch more tutorials? I think it's because I'm scared that I won't develop my own style. I guess I'm pig-headed. If I followed a tutorial, I'd probably have what would be to other people a better looking page, but I don't know whether I'd feel as accomplished. You know, if like I'm feeling uncomfortable with this now, if I pull it off to the point where I'm satisfied with it, that's brilliant. It don't matter what anybody else thinks. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why I don't watch more tutorials. I maybe should. My friend Holly, who I was telling you about last night or earlier on this video, she was showing me something. Oh no, it was in one of her videos. I think it was an introductory video. She showed a page that she did with these crystals on it. Gosh, she does blooming good crystals, does Holly. So I said to her, are you going to do a blooming crystal tutorial? Because I would like to see that. So like if she does that, I'll definitely be watching that kind of tutorial. So yeah, I'm not against watching tutorials. Like, what's the best way to colour a crystal? I'd have a go, and I've tried it in a few of my books, and I'm quite happy with the result. But hers was so good, I would watch a tutorial showing me something like that. Just remember, these are never tutorials with me. Don't think these Luminance are as nice as what the Prisma might have been on this paper. Might try the other greens down here somewhere. Right, what about the leaves? The leaves, Joe. What colour do we want those? Can't believe how good. Can't say his name because it might wake him up and disturb him. But I can't believe how good Rocket is being to say he's not been for his morning walk. He's going to get lots of treats later. Definitely. Do you know there's something quite nice about just being quite relaxed about what colours what pencils I'm pulling for which bit. I'm really quite enjoying it. Just literally going with the flow. That's too pale. Literally going with the flow. I like it. I've got some work to do though with these waxy pencils. I feel like when you're using like polychromos, you can be light, but you can be light with it and you still get a good amount of pigment. I'm trying to think about how to explain it, but certainly these Luminance feel a bit too waxy, if that makes sense. Like unless I press on, maybe I'm just, nah, it's just your imagination, Joe. You just need to hold the pencil further down the barrel. There we go. After this part, if you have coloured along and you want to inbox me some what's the word I'm looking for? In progress shots. I would love to see them. I got that last time with the witches page. People were sending me emails. I'm email at piggypensmail. It's not at for an email, Joe. Get with the program. For email, it's piggypensmail@gmail.com. And on Instagram, I'm at piggypens. Instagram's probably the best way. I tend to see that, you know, because I'm on and off my phone all the time, and for whatever reason I've got those notifications set up, whereas email and everything else, I have to physically go into my app and want to check them to see what you've sent, and sometimes I forget for days. But yeah, if you've actually have coloured along and you want to send me a little in progress picture, I'd surely love to see that. Definitely. Funnily enough, I'm doing my Sagittarius page next in Ocean to Stars, which I mentioned earlier. One of the girls I'm doing that with is Jennifer from Told You Would Colours, who I just mentioned when I was talking about she's just done a room tour. And the colours apparently for Sagittarius are dark blue and purple. And the flower is carnation, and the stone is a turquoise. Is it a precious stone? So I need to Google what one of those looks like, because if it actually has turquoise in it, I could bring that into my dark blue and purple scheme, couldn't I? Which would, I was just thinking it won't be dissimilar from this, would it? And I love these colours. Making me happy. These colours are making me happy while I'm doing this colouring, for sure. This is a nice colour, this black grape from Prismacolor. I am enjoying them, you know. To say I were reluctant to purchase for no other reason than I just thought my Chromaflows. Do you know who's, I watched it was Colouring Bliss's review that sold me. They did that thing where there's, I don't know whether you know, it's like a lady and her husband helps her out. Colouring Bliss, and they sell things, you know, swatch sheets and workbooks and things like that. It's quite a cool, it seems like a cool channel, but I used to watch it a lot when I first started colouring. And I found a review where they were directly reviewing Chromaflow, Derwent Chromaflow against Prismacolor, and they were fans of Prismacolors. So when they reviewed the Chromaflow, they were like quite shocked that they were basically as good as Prismas, according to them. As good as Prismas, but obviously the Chromaflows are a bit better quality actual pencil, you know, the barrel and that. So that was the final review. I watched lots of reviews, but that was the one that I just thought, right, yeah, okay, I'm going to go with Chromaflow. But it just shows you can't rely on... I think the best way to go is to buy a small set of pencils. I've always bought full sets straight off straight out of the gate, which is a bit silly. And this time I bought 12 Prismacolors and tried them, and I felt much more confident about my purchase then, so I'm glad I did that. And that's, if I were speaking to anybody now who's new, that's what I'd say, that's what I'd recommend. just get a 12 pack. It's only the feel of the pencil really that you're testing into it. Or if you can buy them open stock, get 3 greens that you know you can use even if you don't buy a rest of pack. You know, if you colour a lot of foliage, pick 3 greens and just get them sent to you. Try them out before you buy, because I like the Chromaflow, and I think I actually think their colour range might be preferable for me to Prismacolor, but I do like the Prismacolors. And if it weren't for Holly, who I keep talking about, she didn't tell me to get Prismacolors, but she did sort of say how awesome she thought they were. So that made me want them. But if she hadn't done that, I'd probably still want to have Prismacolors, and that'd be a shame because they are nice, aren't they? I need to find what these. I need to find in which type of books these Luminance feel the best, because sometimes I don't think I like them, which is a shame. I'm glad they only cost me 150 quid though. I'm just going to check how long I've been recording for. Ooh. I think we'll be wrapping it up after this little bit, and we'll do the rest in part 2, which will be fab. I'm leaving it at a very precarious point, you know, because I think some of you might be looking and thinking, well, I'm not going to come back for part 2 because that's just shocking. Please, trust me. It's all gonna be good in the end. It's all gonna come good in the end. These little leaves, for example, that I'm colouring, they're gonna pop by the time I've finished. I'm full of self-belief, aren't I, today? I'm gonna work wonders and miracles at this rate. But I'm feeling it, actually. I'm loving the colours. These colours together are just bringing me joy. I love it. So I love, yeah, this whole colour scheme with this blue and this greeny colour in the background. I am liking. Oh gosh, is that another parcel? I'm expecting some things from Temu. They just, you never know when they're coming, do you? Yeah, I'm liking it. I kind of like how this looks. It's very moonlighty, it's twilighty kind of thing, isn't it? I like that. I like it a lot, actually. Kind of want to carry on, but I've got to wrap this up so I can give you a part 1. I think I need to work on my shading. These Luminance, you know, I haven't enjoyed them on this page. I'll just show you a page where I used them and I loved them. Don't go away. It's not a new page, so I'm not spoiling any, you know, completed pages video of the future. Was it in this one? No, it wasn't. It's in this one. So it was in this book, and I did a full page of Luminance. And I really, really enjoyed them. And I don't feel like it were hard work either. So I don't know whether it's a paper thing. And I think I've done a good job there. So, you know, I'm just not digging them today on this paper for some reason. But it's all learning curve, isn't it? So now I know that, I'll think more about what pencils I'm using in what books. But the Prismacolors I'm enjoying in this book. But yeah, there's just something about the consistency of these Luminance. Maybe I'm just not using them right. Do you know what I'm going to do? In fact, I'm going to do a little 10 minutes more. I want to approach one of these limbs, just one limb, with a lighter hand, and I want to see if that's what the problem is, if I'm just too heavy-handed too soon and it's kind of burnishing itself early, if that makes sense. It's burnishing itself too early before I finish getting the pigment down that I want. Let me put some purple down first. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable with polychromos, and I've still got things to, I've still got a lot to learn, because I said I'm not naturally heavy-handed, and polychromos, you work in light layers. Well, I do, and I work from light to dark when I'm using my polys in lighter layers. So I'm interested, not so much with the Prismas, but these Luminance, these 3 green Luminance. Just want to try and get some colour down. So you can see I'm holding my pencil. So we all know what to do, don't we? It's just doing it. Naturally, I want to be more like this. We all know what to do to have a lighter hand. I feel like the Luminance don't run across the paper as smoothly. I feel like it catches, talking about the core, I feel like it catches on itself. It's like sticks, I don't know. Sometimes it's squeaky, sometimes it feels dry. Just, I don't know, I'm not that impressed on this paper. And this darker green, it's inconsistent in lay down. It's just not. See, I feel like it's not making enough of a mark. So then I want to press harder. So I'm resisting that now as we speak. I'm trying to resist that. In case it's because I'm pressing too hard, maybe it's just kind of burnishing itself. And once you burnish, you can't get more pigment on, can you? I know sometimes you can, but certainly with polys, what I've learned is once you've burnished, you're not getting any more pigment on there. It just becomes like a shiny, impenetrable surface, doesn't it? Well, that's what I find. And I find these Luminance are doing that themselves prematurely on this paper, whereas on the other paper, in Fairy Tales, don't know, I don't feel any the wiser through that little couple of minutes there. I don't feel any the wiser. Maybe, I don't know. But I like the Prismas. I'm not having that trouble with these. These are more consistent and more buttery. More buttery soft. I can't change now because the greens, the Prisma greens that I've got are totally different. Well, not totally different, but they're quite a bit different. But I will go to the Prismas for any greens I use down here. So that was, I've learned something there. I don't like Luminance on this paper, I don't think. We also have to remember, right, that these Caran Luminance coloured pencils are not marketed to us who are colouring in colouring books on all sorts of weird and wonderful paper and weird and not so wonderful paper. These are artist grade pencils, and I know Prismacolors say they're artist grade, and you know a lot of pencils say they're artist grade, but really I'm talking about artists who are selling the work. That's who they're aiming to sell these to, isn't it? And that's why they're so keen on light fastness, because they're aiming to sell them to people who display work, or who'll be selling paintings that will be displayed in somebody's home. So they're not geared, they're not meant to be great quality pencils for colourists. They're meant to be great quality pencils for artists. So I won't mind trying. Maybe I'll show you a picture I did. I've shown this picture before when I was introducing myself in my first video, so you may have seen it, but I'm really proud of it, so I'm going to show you it again. I'll show you what I mean and what. I'm coming back. What? This is just for anybody who's just found my channel. So I've always, before colouring, as a kid I always enjoyed just drawing or sketching. So this is some tomatoes that I grew this summer, and they're just in a stainless steel bowl, and I took a photograph of them on my decking garden in sunshine, and then I sketched this out from that picture, and I've coloured it in using polychromos, and I'm really proud of it. So, and I'm comfortable with polychromos, so I don't know. I thought I might take, I know these are totally different pencils because poly's mainly oil and these are mainly wax, but I have got something in me, you know, so I'm not, what am I trying to say? I can colour, you know, I can colour with pencils. So I just, what I might need to do is, on some decent paper, this is Bristol board, on some decent paper I might have to try and do an actual original piece of art or something with these Luminance pencils, because that's what they're most created for, isn't it? They're not created for, you know, I like this paper. I think it's decent colouring paper in this Rita Berman book. But these pencils are sold primarily with artists in mind. So I might try just working on some higher quality paper with them, and that's maybe where they'll come to life, and you know, where I find that they'll be lovely and delicious, and then I'll just try and have to work out which books give me, you know, a sort of paper that is, you know, suits these. I'm kind of waffling now, aren't I? But yeah, I'm really proud of this, so I'd like to do some more original pieces like that. I think it's something I might try and get blown up, and it'd be a lovely picture for my kitchen, that, wouldn't it? You know, if I got a print of it. But yeah, I'm super proud, and the tomatoes this year have been delicious. So yes, I'm gonna carry on for a little bit because I'm enjoying myself. I just might edit some out for you guys, so it's, I don't mind for a colour along. I don't mind it being a 3-hour video, because you're not forced to watch it in one sitting, are you? But if you colour it, and you might colour for 3 hours, in which case, what does it matter? I know if it's like you prefer a shorter video if it's like completed pages or something like that, and I will try and keep that in mind. I've got some fun videos that don't just fit into colour along or completed pages categories. There's one I did on when I first got my Crayola Super Tips that it were really fun to make, exhausting, but fun. I think it'd be a fun watch for you guys if you fancy checking that out. My chaos colouring video is a fun one. So yeah, take a look at my playlists. I've got loads of categories. I've got fun stuff and challenges. I've got some really short videos of where I'm just showing you all my shiny bits. Because that's one thing you can't see on the completed pages on Instagram. You can't see when things twinkle and shine, can you? Which is a shame, I think. I've got a section for colour alongs. So yeah, I'm trying to neatly organise my videos for people. So if they enjoy one particular thing, they can just watch a few back to back. I've still got a lot to learn. I don't know yet how you link, you know, like you can suggest the next video for somebody to watch. I don't know how to do all that yet. These lines that have disappeared, there's something here. These lines here, they'll all be put back in through adding little highlights. So they'll pop out in the finished picture. Don't you worry about that. I think what would have been good as well is a little transition colour in between the purple and the green. A good way to get there obviously would be blue, wouldn't it? Because I think you can lean from blue into green, you can lean from blue into purple. So that would have been a nice little transition colour that would have made a little bit of a more comfortable blend between the two, if that makes sense. I don't mean in texture, I mean in colour, in blending the colours. So that's something I'd bear in mind in future if I were doing this. I think a blue, you know, a third colour of a blue between the purple and the green would have been a more comfortable transition instead of going directly from purple to green. Maybe. If that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I think I'm going to wrap things up there. So yeah, it's actually turning into a little bit of an experiment because I didn't have I mean, I probably should have a plan for a colour along. But you know, you're just watching how I approach things and I don't always have a plan. So I didn't have a plan. So it's turning into quite the experiment. I think I went off camera a little bit there. If I was, I'm really sorry. It's turning into quite the experiment, but I am really, really enjoying it. And I'm loving these wild colours and just feeling a little bit free to do what I want. Just in the moment, not really stress about it. I'm kind of really quite enjoying that. So yeah, go me. And I know you, like I said, this is in its, not, I won't say ugly stage, but it's in its wow, is this really going to work out stage. But yeah, just have some faith, because I've got faith. Come back in part 2 and I think you'll be surprised. And if it does go pear-shaped, I'll be the first one to clock it, don't you worry. I won't need telling, I'll know myself. But yeah, always wait to cast judgment, if you must, until it's completed, because I think it's going to turn out all right. And do you know what? If I end up liking it, I'm going to be so proud of myself, because I don't do colourful trees ever. So yes, I'm quite happy with that. I love the way that it's taken a bit of water, this paper. It's fantastic. So you've got to imagine it when I get some nice greens here. Yeah, it's gonna come together, this, I just know it. Thank you so much for keeping me company while I braved the new world of unnatural coloured trees and other stuff. And while I had a chat to you, I'm sorry, I probably got emotional when I got that gift off Sarah, and a lot of this is to do with me being in the old perimenopause and I'm on HRT and things like that. And I think, you know, it's just a time of life, isn't it? But there's nothing wrong with having emotions, I think. And do you know what I think? A lot of creative people can be quite emotional people as well. My emotions always feel like they're really near the surface, so it doesn't take much. And it's happiness as well. So if somebody makes me really happy, I very quickly go glassy-eyed. So yeah, I've always been the same. So you just have to give me a pass on that, if you will. I'm never depressing. I never feel sad or depressed when I'm colouring and talking to you guys. I'm always really happy. I'm just a woman at that time of life. I was a bit emotional now and again. So thanks for letting me off with that one. And can I just remind you as well, don't forget about what I said about Diane Dreams in Colour. Her channel's a cracking channel anyway. So if you haven't subscribed, or even if you just don't know about her, go take a look on YouTube, Diane Dreams in Colour. And that's colour, C-O-L-O-R. I'll tag her in the comments, in the description, sorry. And also, I mentioned my friend's channel, and I'm not just recommending her because she's my colouring friend, but she's going to do some good stuff because she's a confident colourist and she's been colouring a long time, so she's got a lot to offer us as viewers. That's Hollyberry Colours, Hollyberry Colours, C-O-L-O-R-S. So yes, please check out those two channels, and meet me back here next Friday or over weekend whenever you want to watch. So this will be coming to you on the 14th, ready for whenever you need it. And then I'll follow up. Part 2 will be on the 21st and we'll get this page completed. Thanks so much for keeping me company. It doesn't seem like we've got a lot done, but we've had a right good natter, haven't we? All right, ta-ra for now.